Simulation start. 0 degrees in the frozen heart. Iron boots on the granite floor, counting the seconds in the logic war. Frostbitten fingertips turning black, no reboot on the mountain track. Shattered compass glass in the sleet, broken hardware at my feet. Coordinates lost in the whiteout haze, the physics of failure in the maze. Atmospheric pressure on the vertebrae, liquid nitrogen in the bay. Scanning the slope for a viable path, the glacier calculates the math. The environment dictates the final state. Fertilizer for the landscape wait. Ice is the judge, the ice is the tea. Calibrate flash to the negative zone. Breath freezing into needles now. Ice crown on the frozen brow. Wolves tracking the scent of failure. Trap biology is fragile, biology is frail. Wolves tracking the scent of failure. Scent energy reserves are fully spent. Thermal loss in the femur shaft, sinking down in the mountain craft. Ligaments tearing under the strain. Static noise in the central brain. Geometry of ice is the only law. Nature is a machine without a flaw. The ice is the judge, the ice is the key. Calibrate flash to the negative zone. The ice is the judge, the ice is the key. Calibrate flash to the negative zone. Optic nerve failing to render the light. Total shutdown in the Arctic night. Calcium deposits on the ledge, falling over the glacier edge. Muscle fiber turning to glass, waiting for the millennia to pass. Skin is a barrier leaked in the heat. Iron is heavy on the frozen feet. Logic circuits in the frontal lobe. Frozen surface on the planetary globe. Data packets in the marrow stream. The cold is the fact, the cold is the scheme. No pulse detected. System rejected. Cartilage brittle and thin. The geography overwrites the skin. Vector alignment with the frost. Everything calculated, everything lost. Knees locked in the permafrost grip. Watch the biological battery grip. Rerouting blood to the vital core. Nature is knocking on the cellular door. Synovia foot turn into sloth. Feel the dad, but gravity crush. Axe in the hand is the cold piece of tool. Learn the geometry, leave the school. Data mining in the valley of death. Counting the phosphorus in the breath. Keys shattering like ceramic plates. The mountain determines the fixed fates. The ice is the judge. The ice is the key. Calibrate flash to the negative zone. The ice is the judge. The ice is the key. Calibrate flash to the negative zone. Fertilizer for the next cycle star. Frozen valves in the mechanical heart. System offline. Physics align. Calibration complete.
Iron, stone, bone, coal.
Iron, stone, bone,
Cage pressing on the steel. I run chainmail coding real. Stomach wall is scrapping thin. Purge the data from the skin. Abdomen is sinking deep. No more tissue left to keep. Calibration of the spine. Cross the protocol line. Metal on the wash dead waste. Kill the memory of taste. Feel the geometric pain. I run lock up on the brain. Ligaments are stretching tight. Hardware burning in the night. Muscular fiber turns to ash. System waiting for the crash. Hollow bone, hollow frame. Burn the tallow in the name. Strip the tendon, snap the nerve. Zero data, full observe.
Kill the
trap, exoskeleton is bare. Lower levels need repair. By a low guy is the floor. Break the anthropoid law. Mouth is dry and full of grit. Logic is the only bit. Knee joint grinding on the floor. Scanning for the valve door. Friction in the femur head. Humanji, Omitra dead. Cartilage is wearing thin. Let the algorithm in. 5-6 of the starving man. Execute the master plan. Hollow bone, hollow frame. Burn the tallow and the name. Strip the tendon, snap the nerve. Zero data, full of surge.
Kill the hunger, feed the cold.
Kill the hunger, feed the cold.
Storm is coming, blood is cold. Power in the empty mode.
Ring, ghostly memories they bring. Ancestors in smoke and haze, flicker in the hollow gaze. Ragnarok is in the vein, highest day of pure disdain. They are watching from the height, indexing the ghostly light. Capillaries freeze to glass, watch the mortal water pass. 1010 red, all the useless parts are dead. Murph burning like a fuse, nothing left for me to lose. Axis head wide in the grip, watch the wasted tissue rip. School is pressing on the skin, forcing the hardware to be thin. Raven circling in the dark, waiting for the vital spark. Skeletal driven hard, defragmenting it very yard. Cobalt in the phones and eye, vector logic then a lie. Morrow turning into gold, doing what the rounds have told. Strike the hammer on the shield, force the entroby to yield. Hollow bone, hollow frame, burn the tallow and the name. Strip the tendons, snap the nerve, zero data, full of serve.
Kill the hunger, feed the cold.
Kill the hunger, feed the cold.
Storm is coming, blood is cold. Power in the empty mode.
Power in the empty mode. Power in the empty mode. Rib cage metal. Rib cage metal. Calibration complete. Bone architecture only.
Knee deep in the trench, mud is the floor. Calibrate the logic, settle the score. Cold iron rim on the linden wood, holding the line as I knew I should. The spear splinters on my shoulder blade, no flinch, and all the debt is paid. Unblinking eyes through the falling sleet, fixing the point where the edges meet. Radius snaps, but the grip stays tight. Processing darkness, processing light. Calcium frame in a frozen shell. Geometry born in a colder hell. Jaw locked like a rusted trap. Nerves unplugged, close the gap. Geometry of the flesh and shield. The data says I will not yield. I will not yield. Jaw locked like a rusted trap. Systems dead, hear it snap. Anatomy of the northern storm. The physics keep the marrow warm. Blood is turning into ice on skin. Where the biology ends, the wars begin. Fibula cracked by a heavy blow. Input is zero, let it go. Calibration of the third brace. Standing ground with a weaker stray. Tendons are cables pulling the weight. Locking the hinges, sealing the gate. Scan the horizon, scan the breach. Targets falling within the reach. Bone in the eye, infusion of grain. Disconnecting every signal of pain. Jaw locked like a rusted trap. Nerves unplugged, close the gap. Geometry of the flesh and shield. The data says I will not yield. I will not yield. Jaw locked like a rusted trap. Systems dead, hear it snap. Anatomy of the northern storm. The physics keep the marrow warm. Ribcage lattice, internal grid, doing exactly what the ancestor did. Femur is granite, tibia is steel. Loss of the hardware, loss of the feel. Sensory overload cuts to the black, no more reaction, no turning black. Pulse is a binary thud in the chest, put the neurology into the rest. Axes are falling like heavy code, down on the shoulder, heavy the load. Metacarpal spreading the shaft, executing the perfected craft. No endorphins, no chemical scent, only the fact of the shield being bent. Hard drive face is freezing the core, this is the logic of infinite war. Shield wall vectors locked in the rank, fill up the silence, fill up the tank. Cartilage crushing, nerves on the wide, your pod is the oxygen. Cold is the fire, jaw locked like a rusted trap. Nerves unplugged, close the gap. Geometry of the flesh and shield, the data says I will not yield. I will not yield. Jaw locked like a rusted trap. System's dead, hear it snap. Anatomy of the northern storm. The physics keep the marrow warm. Ice in the bone, seated forever on the silicon throne. Binary vessels, the systems are cold. Anatomy shift into a geometric mold. Veins pumping slush through the valves of the heart. Mechanical winter tearing physics apart. Hardware is frozen, the software is static. Rib cage is locking in the rhythm erratic. The code is the code.
The ice is the law.
The code is the code.
The ice is the law.
Calibration of the femur, the angle is set. Geometry frozen in a silver mesh neck. Rhyme ice coating the eyelashes thick. Clock speed is dropping with a heavy iron click. Data is bleeding from the nerve endings raw. Obeying the logic of the sub-zero law. Fever to fibula, the axis is straight. Locking the hinges at the vertebrae gate.
Wide out horizon, the vision is null.
Ironclad winter inside of the skull.
Heartbeat slowing to a crawl in the chest.
Anatomical systems are poked to the test.
No more resistance.
The liquid is solid.
Calculated vengeance. Brutal and squalid. Capillary shattered in the fractal design. Encryption, a frost on the length of the spine. Kinetic energy is reduced to a zero. No room for mercy, no room for a hero. Tendons are cables, the nerves are the wire. Extinguishing signals of the chemical fire. Processing marrow in the vat of the knee. Vector alignment for the eyes to see.
The body is merging.
Merging,
Cold is the surging.
surging,
Ice is the master.
master,
Death is the faster.
faster.
System override.
Override.
Nothing left inside.
Inside. Go.
Algorithm winter in the palm of the hand. Mapping the physics of a desolate land. Jawbone is heavy with the weight of the frost. Biological data is permanently lost. Scapula locked to the shield wall array. Total integration in the cold light of day. Pelvic calibration for the final advance. Frozen synapses in a permanent trance.
Wide out horizon, the vision is null.
Ironclad winter inside of the skull.
Heartbeat slowing to a crawl in the chest.
Anatomical systems are put to the test.
No more resistance.
The liquid is solid.
Calculated vengeance. Brutal and squalid.
Point balance.
Thermal dead end.
Static geometry. Final calibration. Calibrate the iron in the freezing mist. The geometry of death is held within the risk. I map the failure in the structural code, the weaker garbage on the binary road. My nervous system is a shielded wire, forged in the logic of the frost and fire. No synapse bias for the victim's shame. I delete the signature and burn the name.
Shield wall, firewall, standing tall,
Watching the biological data fall.
the physics of the strike are set to zero.
I am the processor, I am no hero.
Delete the mercy,
Erase the weak,
the code is written.
in the bones we see.
Calibrate the accents,
Scan the fault,
lock the marrow data.
in the winter vault. Rib cage cracking like a system error. I feel no frequency of human terror. Scanning the tendons for the point of break. Calculated damage is the path I take. I view the body as a broken machine. Keep the optic sensor and the output clean. The spinal column is a copper rod, conducting lightning from a coda god.
No soft tissue in the commander's logic.
Execution style is purely technologic.
I sever the connection to the central hub.
Grinding down the spirit like a gearbox stub. Calibration complete. Gravity is the only law I meet. I do not hear the noise the flesh sustains, only the rhythm of the iron chains. The target kneels on the geometric grid, access denied to the life he hid. Axe blade wiping clean on the snow, calibrating exactly where the fluids flow.
Eyes the void of reflection stare. No visual data in the freezing air.
Silence bleeding in the sub-zero gale. Execution of the hardware fail.
The dull thud of a falling weight.
Gravity septos the traitor's fate.
I wipe the buffer and I clear the screen.
The marrow is cold and the cut is
Delete the
clean.
mercy,
Erase the weak,
the code is written.
in the bones we see.
Calibrate the accents,
Scan the fault,
lock the marrow data.
in the winter vault. Bones and ash, bones and ash. System crash.
System crash.
Geometry of the iron strike.
No two failures are ever alike.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na
I make no sound. Iron chains rattle on the granite floor. Calculate the weight of the iron door. Ice in the mirror when the joints are locked. System is online and the jaw is cocked. First impact hits at a fixed degree. Geometry of trauma in the vertebrae. I swallow the blood like a heavy fuel. Body is the anvil and the strike is the tool. No output signal from the vocal cord. Sever every nerve with the blunt force sword. Internal calibration of the thoracic cage. Data points burning on a frozen page. Oxygen the scarce in the sub-zero cell. Logic is the armor in this physical hell. Read the pressure on the radius bone. I am the pillar and the pillar is stone. No sound in the chamber of ice. No speech for the god sacrifice. Bones are the heart where the iron is real. Code of the silence is tempered and steel. Cracked rips into the heavy drum beat. Never the off pot, a bitter defeat. Frozen the ligament, frozen the vein. I am the anvil that swallows the strain. Input the hammer and process the shock. Tibia grinds on the sediment rock. Measure the torque on the ligament strand. Mapping the damage of the heavy hand. Cartilage is crushed but the will is unbent. 0% of the energy spent. Rhythmic breathing through a broken nose. Capillaries burst where the iron flows. Fracture is the number in the central node. I do not falter, I do not corrode. Tendons are cables bolted to the frame. I have no vocal file attached to a name. Flesh is the casing, the titan is stored. Logic prevails where the blood is poured. Calibrate the pulse to a singular throb. I am the machine that the gods cannot rob. Binary marrow, numerical bone. Axis of silence, standing alone.
Strike the max, cinnamon shatter the glass. Watch as the seconds of agony pass. Physical constants define the resistance. I am negligent your vocal existence. Follow the iron of distant decay. Synopsis vibrant and sheen to the gray. I am the monolith covered in frost. Counting the impact but nor the cost. Collect the bruises and nulling your grid. Had no response to the ancestors hit. Mirroring scream with the moss as a seal. Harder than granite and colder than steel. Architecture built on a ruptured foundation. Total control of the nerve propagation. Skull is a helmet protecting the source. I am the object of immovable force.
Blood swallowed, drains rattle, strike harder, calibrate the power. This is the hour. System failure, not found. I make no sound. I make no sound. No sound in the chamber of ice. No speech for the god sacrifice. Bones are the heart where the iron is real. Code of the silence is tempered in steel. Crack ribs sink to the heavy drum beat. Never the output to bitter defeat. Frozen the ligament, frozen the vein. I am the anvil that swallows the strain. Scanning the damage. Calibration complete. Physical matrix intact. 0 decibels. Silence.
Board gray, chalk lines white. Calibrate the winter light. Wind vector at 10 degrees. Freeze the marrow, bend the knees. Mapping out the frozen plane. Geometry of the pain. Axis swinging parallel. Cinematic break of shell. Shield wall gap at 0.04. Walking through the open door. Latitude and longitude. Cold and calm like deadly mood. Angles cut through skin and fat. No one survives after that. Pulse is measured, heart is time. Statistically sublime.
101.
101.
War has begun.
War has begun.
Data is cold.
Data is cold.
Fate is control.
Fate is control.
Friction and force.
Friction and force.
Kill at the source.
Kill at the source.
System failure in the bones. Sit up on the iron throne. Algorithm of the axe. Coded in the white hot tracks.
Ribcage snap and vertebrae. Light consumed in colder gray. Flies ices of the mortal frame. Nothing left to carinate. Breathe in the blue, human panic. Movement is so inorganic. Heavy breath then breaks the sink. Watch the system start to blink. Tendons stretch and fibers tear. Blood is misting in the air. Cartilage and calcium beating on the battle drum. Calibrating for the kill. Static noise and rigid will. Neural pathway shutting down. Shattering the iron crown. Narrow knocked in level state. Balance on the sharpened blade. Release point at the perfect mark. Sending them into the dark. Physically manifest. Steel is entering the chest.
No more feeling, no more sound. Body hitting frozen ground.
Synchronized in every part.
Stopping the metamic heart.
Hardware failure, software dead.
Carry out the words I said. System failure in the bones. Sit up on the iron throne. Algorithm of the axe. Coded in the white hot tracks.
Ribcage snap and vertebrae. Light consumed in colder gray. Eyes ices of the mortal frame. Nothing left to carinate.
Slate is clean.
Lines are gone.
Waiting for
A colder dawn.
bone and marrow.
Nerve and steel.
Nothing left
For them to feel.
zero sum.
And zero life.
Ending of
The put against the skin, processing the depth within. Serrated steel, a jagged line, binary of red design. Counting lacerations on the outer shell, coordinates where the iron fell. 1 for the shoulder, 2 for the chest. Calibrating hardware for the final test.
3 for the forearm, 4 for the thigh.
No error in the algorithm, no need to cry.
Mapping bruises, purple grid.
Calculating what the shield wall did. Impact data on the radius bone. Processing the signal in the silent zone. Ulna splintered, sharp and clean. Scanning the damage on the human machine.
Nerve telemetry,
The code of war.
system recovery.
Blood on the floor.
Geometry of pain.
The iron law.
Data streaming through the open jaw.
No soul in the wire.
No ghost in the frame.
Just the physics of the
Killing game.
axe input.
Feedback loop.
Strengthen the lattice.
Tighten the hoop.
Vertebrae stacked in a vertical row, measuring the force of the hammer blow. Ligaments torn in a sudden shift, analyzing a tectonic rift. Fascia shredded, fibers frayed. Balance the account for the debt we paid. Blackened fingernails, grip the steel. Dead nerve sensors can no longer feel. Pressure sensors in the fingertips. Blood flow data from the frozen lips. Femur intact, the foundation holds. Legacy written as the map unfolds. Scapula cracked,
The wing is broken.
logic is the only language spoken. Patella crushed on the leather boot, tracing the damage to the central root. Cauterizing a wound with absolute silence. Optimal response to the kinetic violence. Sealing the vascular breach with fire. Burning the terminal, cutting the wire. No endorphin spike, no neural lag. Labeled a failure, attach the tag. Sternum compressed, the ribs are tight. Monitoring oxygen levels tonight. Bone marrow churning, producing the cells. Ringing the structural integrity bell.
Nerve telemetry.
The code of war.
System recovery.
Blood on the floor.
Geometry of pain.
The iron law.
Data streaming through the open jaw.
No soul in the wire.
No ghost in the frame.
Just the physics of the
Killing game.
axe input.
Feedback loop.
Strength in the lattice.
Tighten the hoop.
Synapses firing like a lightning strike. Sharp in the edge of the iron pike. Cortex locked on the kill command. Power steering in the sword hand. Tendons pulling like a steel cable. Write the equation, clear the table. Abdominal wall, the plate is thick. Count the ticks of the internal clock click. Pelvic girdle, the weight distributor. Death is the only final contributor. Thermal readout, the blood is hot. Processing the trauma in the cranial slot. Hard-coded fury in the optic nerve. Master the angle, master the curve. Final calibration of the warrior unit. Listen to the steel, listen as I tune it.
Bone stay. Reps stay. Marrow stay. Will stay. Nerve.
Fire,
Fiber.
fire,
Code.
fire,
Blood.
fire. System reboot, the horizon is black. No return path, no turning back. Telemetry lock, the data is deep. Promises for the Valkyrie to keep. Static interference.
Drowning out the breath. Listen. Learn. Look at the body, a cage of white line. Stripped of the lies and the waste of your time. I see no spirit, I see no light. Only the pulleys that fail in the fight. The hinge of the jaw and the ball of the hip. Calibrate tension and tighten the grip. There is no ghost in the mesh of the brain. Only the electrical signals of pain. Behold the structure, the timber and reed. Built to be broken and destined to bleed. Map out the nerves in the logical grid. Find where the weakness and failure are hid. Scan the thoracic, the plating of rib. Write the new code with an iron nib. Muscle is fiber, record in the rope. Logic is sharper than mercy or hope. Lever and pulley, snap. Iron and data, crush. Lever and pulley, snap. iron and data. Crush, no soul in the me. Only the cold machine. Listen, young wolf, to the sound of the click. The handle is heavy, the motion is quick. Focus your pressure on the clavicle stone. There is no glory in snapping the collarbone. It is just physics, a lever, a weight. Gravity pulls and it seals up the fate. Move to the heel where the tension is stored. Sever tendons by the edge of the sword. Anatomy lessons are written in red. Follow the flow of your arterial thread. Analyze vectors and calibrate force. Blood is a coolant that follows its course. Disrupt the hydraulic, the pump in the chest. Put the biological system to rest. Scrape out the marrow, the lubricant oil. Leave the remains in the mud of the soil. Flesh is a circuit, break it down. Bone is the hardware, hit the ground. Geometry of the war we wage. Tear the narrative off the page. No mercy in the calibration. Total system termination. We are the cold-blooded arch attack. Standing for all the structural defects. Measure the gap where the helmet is thin. Iron and data will pierce through the skin. Calculate drift in the wind and the trees. Target the joints and the hinges and knees. Look at the target, the throat is a pipe. Wait for the moment, the timing is right. Exact angle up the neck is the key to break the machine of the whole enemy. The aim, precision is better than fury and rage. Turn the machine to the very last page. Drive the point home through the case, through the wall. Watch the whole structure integrity fall. Puncturing the lung cavity now. Blood on the eye and the sweat on the brow. No respiration, the system will fail. Write the results in the dust of the trail. I see the geometry, I see the code. Over the limit and watch it explode. Femur and tibia cracking apart. Nothing is sacred inside of the heart. It is a pump, it is only a valve. There is no hymen and there is no salve. Cartilage tumbles like salt in the sea. This is the end of the whole symmetry. Calibrate, walk in the swing of the arm. Logic and steel are the sources of harm. Scared for the pulse and the radio range. Disconnect, note of the electrical pain. Pulleys and wires in the shoulder and wrist. Give the anatomy one final twist. Marrow is leaking, the pressure is low. Terminate function and finish the show. Flesh is a circuit, break it down. Bone is the hardware, hit the ground. Geometry of the war we wage. Tear the narrative off the page. No mercy in the calibration. Total system termination. We are the cold-blooded architects. Setting for all the structural defects. Lovers. Police. Structural weakness. Everything breaks when you know where to hit. Everything ends in the bottomless pit.
Size has cut, the bone has grown. The size has cut, the bone has grown. Upgrade the marrow. Dirt in the lungs, swollen the teeth. Claw in the body's buried underneath. Mud cake heavy inside of my hair. Lungs compressing the freezing air. Fingernail shattered, vertebrae cracked. Hardware restarts, data is packed. Ribcage locked, geometry true. Nothing is old, everything new. Calcium hardening system is primed. Out of the pit, out of the slime. Calibration of tibia steel. Ignore the ghost, forget how to feel. Logic is static, survival is pure. Only the broken can ever endure. Scars forming armor, plating is thick. Flesh is the lie, the metal is quick.
Stepping on the faces of the fallen.
We rise, we rise.
Stepping on the faces of the fallen.
Fuel war is the game. Rewriting the code, rewriting the frame. Ash is the fuel war is the game. My scars are the umber, my sinew is wire. Burn all the softness in the origin fire. Calibrate the mandible, calibrate the strike. I am the hammer, I am the pie. Call out snow chords, screaming in key. The laws of the physics are working for me. My scars are the armor. My sinew is wire. My sinew is wire. Fracture point Reach stresses to input blood on the heel, mud on the boot for processing trauma trapped in the game. Synapses fire faster than pain. Tendons and cables protect is clear, deleting the chemical signature fears. Scanning the horizon, reading the heat. I do not pause, I do not retreat. Femur reinforced, narrow as lead. Walking the bridge of the severed and dead. Boot on a jawbone, heel in a stall. Blades remain sharp, minds become dull. I am the program, I am the god. Crushing the dirt, crushing the sod. Your role path, vision is locked. I'll let the weak to for properly shock. Bones and iron.
Bones and iron.
Nerves and current.
Nerves and current.
No mercy in the marrow. No mercy in the rib. Destroying the grave. Destroying the grave. Step on a friend, step on a foe. The upgrade is all that I need to know. That it is crimson, that it is bone. I am a king on a graveyard throne. Calibrate breach, calibrate swing. Feel half the metal and skeleton sing. Neck muscle hard and vision is blue. I become the cold version of you. Acting is arc and pulse in the eye. We do not rest, we do not die. We're the sequence we ever raw. Nature is error, I am the law. Tendons and tension, physics is right. I am the geometry, killing the lie. My scars are the armor, my sinew is wire. Burn all the softness in the origin fire. Calibrate the mandible, calibrate the strike. I am the hammer, I am the pie. Call out, go chord, screaming in key. The laws of the physics are working for me. My scars are the armor. My sinew is wire. My sinew is wire.
Step on the fallen, upgrade the bone. Step on the fallen, upgrade the bone.
Calibration complete. Logic is meat. Calibration complete. Logic is meat.
Epidermis hardening, grey and cold. Writing the data, ancient and old. Skin turning grey, basalt and ash. Armor plating, shield wall crash. Joints grinding hard tectonic plates. Crushing the entry, closing the gates. Movement is mass, movement is weight. Physics defined, calculating fate. Axle turning, logic is bound. Dying, hitting the frozen ground. Skeleton locked, heavyweight lift. Biological life seismic shift. Nerve endings fusing, copper and wire. Extinguishing all the internal fire. System reboot, carbon and steel. I no longer have to fear. Impenetrable cage, chest cavity stone. Iron in the marrow, iron in the bone. Geometry fix, the skeleton stays. Solidifying in the northern haze. Basalt blood, heavy and thick. Heart is a static, clockwork tick. No more fluid, no more flow. I am the mountain in the snow. Shield rim heavy, hardware locked. System frozen, tempo shocked. Axe swing, vector calibrated strike. Iron in the tendon, nothing else like. Data is drifting through the eye slit. Every collision a perfect fit. Physics of violent geometry law. Ice in the socket, ice in the jaw. Rib cage, lattice carbon mesh. Extricating all the residual flesh. Nerve cable tension, pulling the frame. Erasing the memory, erasing the name. Bones of stone, heart of lead. Biological is dead. Bones of stone, heart of lead. Biological is dead. Boots are snapping, boots of stone. Mineral marrow, heavy bone. Breaking the earth, gravity clutch. I cannot feel the human touch. Femur is granite, tibia flint. Eye is the cold obsidian glint. Calibration, nerve and spark. Navigation into the dark. Shoulder hinge grinding, heavy and slow. Harder than anything human can know. Roots breaking down against the boot. I am the mountain, I am the root. Shield wall logic. Geometry static. Oxygen exchange. Oxygen intake. No more bleeding, no more breath. Only the physics after death. Stasis achieved, mineral state. I am the pillar, I am the way. Impenetrable cage, chest cavity stone. Iron in the marrow, iron in the bone. Geometry fix, the skeleton stays. Solidified in the northern haze. Basalt blood, heavy and thick. Heart is a static, clockwork tick. System solid. Calibration final. Geological absolute.
Ravens cling high.
What's in under?
Frozen sky. I hit the snow when the system is cold. Broken restore on the body so old. Shattered the radio, the axe is a shard. Counting the data in metrical yard. And clans of femurs are locking in place. Carving the geomet, we give the face. Involuntary muscular spasms ignite. Craning the vertebrae back to the light.
Not the nerve, not the nerve.
Heat the marrow,
Heat the marrow. Sharpen bone, sharpen bone.
kill the sorrow.
Kill the sorrow.
Frostbite is peeling the dermis away. Software extracting the price I must pay. Calibrate tendons to pull on the joint. Arrowhead seeking the critical point. Pupils dilating in darkness and ash. Sensors are reading before the long crash. Heart restarting on its own in the chest. Breaking the breach, try not allowing the rest.
The cold in the calcium is born of the cold.
The logic of fury is ancient and old.
Nothing is sacred but ligaments strain.
Writing the data in sharp cold pain.
Axe in the hand like the graph of the force.
Follow the blood on its numerical course.
Nerves are a circuit of copper and bile, killing the distance mile after mile. Rib cage is clamping its after control. Hardware is fighting the void in the hole. 5-6 are governing every swing. Listen to how the steel dome we try sing. Cartilage grinding like gears in the mud. Updating value of oxygen blood.
I see the math in the spray of the red. Logic is living where reason is dead. Calibration,
Failure.
recalibration.
Silence.
Force the lungs to expand in the ice.
Paying the quota and paying the price.
Skull as a helmet of calcified hate. Enter the values and seal up the gate. Scapula shifting to enter the way. Death is a status that arrives too late. Scanned at the horizon, dark signals of war. Bones on the timber and marrow the core. Can make a fire in the base of the brain. Organic and giant is driving the train.
The gold in the calcium is born of the cold.
The logic of fury is ancient and old.
Nothing is sacred but ligaments strain.
Writing the data in sharp cold pain.
Axe in the hand like a graph of the force.
Follow the blood on its numerical course. Shield wall is structure of wood and of iron, surrounded by walls and the sound of the siren. Posture is fixed by the mechanism now, sweating the frozen salt off of the brow. Grenade damages sing on the skin, but the refusal is structure within. Synapses firing a killing command. Force the recursion and make a final stand. System stable, system dead. Heart restarting, red on red.
Swing strike.
Cold steel hits the frozen dirt, processing the massive hurt. System check at 0 point. Iron locks in every joint. The shield is locked, the shield is cold. Execute the data old. Calculate the line of force. Accent set upon the course. Step 1, true and perfect sync. Do not process, do not think. Binary is in the blade. Watch the physics of the ray. See code in the marrow, but bone to the arrow. Everything is quantified. Human error cast aside.
Swing strike, swing strike.
Step in time with the drum.
Swing strike, swing strike.
Step in time with the drum.
Swing strike, swing strike.
Step in time with the drum.
Swing strike.
do not hear the dying shout. The cloak is burning on my back. Maintain the rhythm of attack. Ignore the fire, ignore the heat. Data makes the kill complete. Sensors map the broken rib. Blood is leaking from the crib. No hero, it's no excess, only logical progress. Metal teeth in iron lung. Ancient songs are never sung. I am hardware, I am will. Built to standard, built to kill. Calibration of the wrist. Nothing living can exist.
Harvest the marrow, harvest the bones.
Swing the iron, swing the steel.
Sine wave of the bloody axe.
Frozen data in the snow.
Where the sensors tell to go.
Anatomical repair, scent of burning flesh and hair. Sever the tendon at the joint, sharpen the mathematic point. Vertebrae begin to crack, no reaction to attack. Femur shattered on the stone, processing the weight of bone. Scan the field for moving parts, silence the biological hearts. Kinetic energy transfer, everything is just a blur. I am not a man of war, I am the processor core. Liquid nitrogen in veins, breaking all the organic chains. Input ash, input bone, output gash. Gravity, velocity, mass. Watch the burning life form pass. No soul detected in the scan. I have ended every man.
Liquid's got the air. Zero mercy, zero prayer.
Step in time with the drum, watch the calibration come.
Sing that firing silver light. Terminate the remnant sight.
Cartilage and nerve ending, stop the life I'm defending.
With the perfect on the beat.
I ignore the burning sheet.
My cloak is as my cloak is called.
I have deleted every soul.
The village is the grid of brave.
Processing the end of day. Just a fist to the face at the end of the race.
Harvest the marrow, harvest the bones.
Swing the iron, swing the steel.
Sine wave of the bloody axe.
Frozen data in the snow.
Harvest the marrow, harvest the bones.
Swing the iron, swing the steel.
Sine wave of the bloody axe.
Frozen data in the snow. Frozen data in the snow.
Calibration complete. Coordinates neutralized.
Swing strike, swing strike. Swing strike, swing strike. Swing strike, swing strike. Swing strike, swing strike. I stand on the ridge where the oxygen tins. I count all the data, I count all your sins. I look at the valley, I look at the glow. My nerves are vibrating, I'm ready to go. Your city is soaking, the fabric is weak. I'm spitting on silk while the prisoners shriek. Your system is failing, the logic is flawed. I'm sharpening iron, I'm sharpening the god. My tendons are tight like a cable of steel. I don't need a heart and I don't need to feel. I see the geometry lines in the dirt. I'm calculating how much the impact will hurt. The walls are just paper, your gates are just glass. I'm waiting for physics, I'm waiting to pass. My marrow is frozen, my marrow is black. I'm hitting the wall and I'm never looking back.
Step into the code, step into the cold. Everything is bought, everything is sold.
We smash through the arches, we smash through the gate. The physics of iron is sealing your fate. No room for the weak and no room for the soft. The axe is the language we're carrying aloft. The data is broken, the system is burned. The lesson, the cinder is all that you learn. We crush all the status, we crush all the pride. There's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide. I walk through the plaza, I smash every face. I'm clearing the cash, I'm clearing the space. I'm smashing the marble, the statues of dust. Your laws are just dying, consumed by the rust. I see all the merchants, they're fat and they're gray. They're weeping in corners, they're trying to pray. But gods don't hear data and gods don't hear fear. The sound of the breaking is all that I hear. I'm cutting the nerves and I'm cutting the wire. I'm tossing the gold in the heart of the fire. Watch the gold coins melting, they run like a flood. I'm mixing the metal with water and mud. Calibration is finished, the target is set. Your life is a debt that you haven't paid yet. My ribs are a cage for the anger inside. The geometry breaks where the cowards are high.
I track every movement, I track every breath. My vision is thermal, my vision is death. I don't see a person, I only see bone. I only see targets of meat and of stone. The weeping of merchants is music to me. I'm breaking the locks and I'm setting it free. The fire is hungry, the fire is bright. It's heat in the shadow, it's heat in the light. I pull on the tendons, I flex on the grip. I'm watching the silk as I give it a rip. I'm burning the banners, I'm burning the pride. The code of the warrior is all that survived. I enter the temple, I enter the hall. I watch all the gold as it drips down the wall. It's melting like butter, it's melting like wax. I'm ending the story with one hit of the axe. The marrow is cold. The city is born.
The city is sold. Break the bowl. We smash through the arches, we smash through the gates. The physics of iron is sealing your fate. No room for the weak and no room for the soft. The axe is the language we're carrying aloft. The data is broken, the system is burned. The lesson of ignorance, all that you learn. We crush all the status, we crush all the pride. There's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide. Burn the spire, burn the liar. Smash the stone, break the bone. Calibration complete. The physics of defeat. The marrow is black. We never look back. Count the cortex. We map the marrow, map it. The geometry of death is exact. Strikes the gold of a hollowed out throne. I kick away the crown from the skull and the bone. Calcium shatters in the dust and the gray. The old king is data we delete today. My tendons are cables of braided steel wire. I calibrate breath in the smoke and the fire. System is online, the circuit is pushed. Under the iron the weaklings are crushed. Axe meets the sternum, a perfect divide. There is nowhere for cowards to function or hide. I scan for the weakness inside of the chest. The apex is calculated by the kill test. Straight from the cracked skull pouring the red. We are the living and they are the dead. Axes and logic and iron and code. We are the gods on the crushing road. Nerds made of copper and hearts made of stone. Claiming the ruins and chopping the throne. Flesh is the hardware, the blade is the key. I unlock the ribs so the marrow is free. Blood is the coolant running cold down my hand. My boots write the syntax of this frozen land. Teeth grind on brick like a gearing in check. I snap every vertebrae tight in the neck. No mercy in circuits, no glitch in the aim. I strike like a thunderbolt, claiming the frame. Radius owner, I break them in two. There is no saving for any of you. The math of the carnage is simple and clean. I am the monarch and I am machine. Shield wall is up like a firewall grid, accessing power the ancestors hid. Runes on the monitor, runes on the steel. I crush the soft tissue underneath the heel. Calibrate muscles for maximum force. The river of blood takes its natural course. Sensors detecting the fear in the vein. I am the virus inside of the brain. Like a man tearing the sound, it's a snap. I close the jaws of the predator trap, scanning the horizon for vital signs left. The world is partitioned by slaughter and death. Tree from the cracked skull pouring the red. We are the living and they are the dead. Axes and logic and iron and code. We are the gods on the crushing road. Nerves made of copper and hearts made of stone, claiming the ruins and chopping the throne.
Democracy died. Nothing is left but the strength of the stride. No votes in the ash, only shards of the hip. I tighten the leather and tighten the grip. Scapula shatters and clavicle breaks. I take every bite that the conqueror takes. Femoral splintered to leverage the weight. I am the program that dictates the fate. Synapses firing and lightning the ray. I butcher the weak in the heat of the fray. Physics of warfare applied to the lung. The last of the parasite songs has been sung.
Wild dogs are entering the palace of old. Their jaws are the only law left in the cold. They tear at the tendons left on the floor. We lock the gate to the ancestral door.
Drinking the rent from the hollow of face. Removing the weak from the history of race. Zeros and ones in the splatter are slain. The sorting is over, the vessel is clean. I sin on the robber with iron in hand. The logic of predators rules over land. No spirit, just matter, no prayer, just a knife.
This is
tracing the symbols in the soot. Iron on the skin, ash underfoot. Calibration of the ancient script. Memory locked in the burial crypt.
System boot on the frozen ground. Deaf forefathers make a terrible sound. Static in attendance, tension in the nerve. Follow the trajectory, watch the curve. Input the geometry, sharpen the steel. Grind the cold data under the heel. Law is the hardware, marrow is the code. Heavy is the burden, blood on the road. Binary logic in the rib cage wall. Wait for the signal, wait for the call. Vertebrae stacked like a monolith tower. Ancestral engine, absolute power.
blood oaths carved in the oak frame.
Oak frame,
Ancient data in the war game.
war game. Weights of the dead in the spinal cord.
Calibrate the strike of the iron sword.
Geometry of death in the ashen bone.
Kingdom of silence on a frozen throne.
Whisper under ravens, upload the sight. Thermal vision in the dead of the night. Scan the perimeter, harvest the fear. Dead men singing so the signal is clear. Anatomical map of the killing floor. Unlock the logic of the digital war. No forgiveness in the central unit. Broken is the vein, we must attune it. Calculate the pressure on the skull plate. Execution is the only valid state. Nerves like wires in the burning mud. Filter the oxygen, filter the blood.
Blood oaths carved in the oak frame.
Oak frame,
Ancient data in the war game.
war game.
Weights of the dead in the spinal cord.
Calibrate the strike of the iron sword.
Geometry of death in the ashen bone.
Kingdom of silence on a frozen throne.
Code in the muscle, script in the flash. Caught in the ancient physical mash. Laws of physics, laws of the blade. Debts of the father must be paid. Synapse firing like a hammer hit. Torched is the earth, sire in the pit. No abstract mercy, only the fact. Anatomic truth and lethal lack. Ligaments tearing under the strain. Processing the input, processing the pain. Can't kill the emotion, run the routine. Savage protocol, violent machine.
Trace the soot, trace the soot. Cold and mute, cold and mute.
Generations heavy on the shoulder blade. This is the circuit that the ancestors made. No soul in the wire, only the flow. Down in the marrow where the black fires grow.
Calibration complete. Victory is neat.
Blood oaths carved in the oak frame.
Oak frame,
Ancient data in the war game.
war game.
Weight of the dead in the spinal
starting to break. The marrow in the foundation begins to quake. We recalibrate the angle of the iron swing. Watch the physics of the collapse start to sing. The columns fracture like a shattered spine. We purge the system of the old design. Every joint and tendon of the arch is torn. This is how the new data is born. The aqueduct is spitting out its inner code. Heavy metals melting on the frozen road. We calculate the failure of the load-bearing beam. There is no glitch inside this killing scheme. Your granite pelvis cracks underneath the weight. We are the hardware and the final state. The mortar is turning into useless sand. We erase the blueprint of the conquered land. The roar of falling masonry is all that remains. Iron through the marrow in the open veins. Banners burning in the mud below our feet. The geometry of ruin is now complete. Roar of falling masonry is all that remains. Coated in the ash of these eternal plains. Banners burning in the mud below our feet. The geometry of ruin is now complete. Crushed stained glass is slicing through the nerve. We hit the target on the downward curve. The optics of the empire are dim and cold. We shred the parchment and the story told. Your limestone ribs are snapping in the dark. We leave a binary and bloody mark. The system failure is a physical fact. We seal the breach within the final act. Calibrating axis for the temple wall. Watch the logic of the pillars start to fall. The central processor where the gate is down. We strip the copper from the broken crown. Tendon stretching until the copper wire snap. We map the violence on a digital map. No more structure, only jagged bone. We are the frequency inside the stone. Falling masonry, roar of falling masonry, roar of falling masonry, roar of falling masonry, roar of falling masonry. Feeling is a fractured skull. The data transfer is becoming no. We walk the rubble where the kings once stood. Banners burning in the thick of mud. The mineral content to the wall is low. We write the tundra with every blow. Physical constants are the only law. Nature returning with a bloody jaw. Mortar turning to sand inside the lung. The death of an empire is the only tongue. We measure the distance of the falling tower. This is the calibration of our primal power. No more geometry, only heaps of dust. Axis corroding through the ancient rust. We count the shards of the glass in the silt. This is the void that the ancestors built. The roar of falling masonry is all that remains. Siren through the marrow in the open veins. Banners burning in the mud below our feet. The geometry of ruin is now called. The roar of falling masonry is all that remains. Coated in the ash of these eternal plains. Banners burning in the mud below our feet. The geometry of ruin is now complete. Mortar turning to sand. Banners burning in the mud. The roaring stops. Only the marrow remains.
Ice cracks under iron boots. Armor grinds in frozen roots. Fog escapes the cyanosis lit. Nerve data locks the grip. Calcium ribs protect the code. Heavy iron on the northern road. No shiver in the marrow bone. Geometry of the killing zone. Frozen armor joints screech aloud. Walking underneath the binary cloud. Ice cracks under iron boots.
Armor grinds in frozen roots.
Internal physics hitting absolute zero. Calibrated killing for the frozen hero. My tendons are wire.
My tendons are wire.
I don't need fire.
I don't need fire.
The data of the winter is a surgical blade. No heart race fight in the nighttime ray. My veins are the flow.
My veins are the flow.
the river crossing. Zero friction in the shield tossing. Physics of the heavy winter axe. Scanning for the weakness in the tracks. Metabolic rate is dropping to the floor. Processing the geometry of war. Frozen armor drenched resist the tide. Data set is black inside. A sword brittle from the cold impact. Breaking all the bones by legal contract. Physics of the heavy winter axe. Scanning for the weakness in the tracks.
Oxygen levels stabilized in the chest. Rib cages, the only nest.
Nerve endings are frozen and still executed by the iron will. No heat detected in the scanning eye. No mercy underneath the war-torn sky. My arrow is a glacier stone. I am the master of the killing zone. Internal physics hitting absolute zero. Calibrated killing for the frozen hero. My tendons are wire.
My tendons are wire.
I don't need fire.
I don't need fire.
The data of the winter is a surgical blade. No heart rate spike in the nighttime raid. My veins are the flow.
My veins are the flow.
I am absolute zero. I am the sub-zero calibration and the organic generation. Nice cracks on the iron boot, pulling up the enemies by their roots. A sword brittle from the cold strike. Heavy metal on the iron spike. Fog escapes the cyanosis dip, maintaining a permanent grip. Skull geometry is mapped and cleared. Everything with soft flesh but geared. Ice cracks on the iron boot.
Armor grinds and frozen roots.
Internal physics hitting absolute zero. Calibrated killing for the frozen hero. My tendons are wire.
My tendons are wire.
I don't need fire.
I don't need fire.
The data of the winter is a surgical blade. No heart rate spike in the nighttime raid. My veins are the flow.
My veins are the flow.
I am absolute zero. Calcium and iron, binary and blood. Absolute zero is the weapon. Cold is the logic on the raid.
Frost on the tendon, ice in the nerve. Calibration perfect, watch the blade curve. Hollow is the belly, hollowed is the cheek. Predator logic, hunting for the weak. Stomach growling beast, body screaming loud. Blood is the data, death is the cloud. Rib cage tightening, armor on the bone. Standing in the frozen dirt, standing all alone. Stomach rolling beast, feed on the vibe. Ancient hardware, systems deployed. Copper on the tongue, salivate for red. Binary of carnage, data of the dead. Put the buckle tight, crush the empty space. Geometry of hunger, hollow in the face. Let the belt strangling, waist getting thin. Grinding down the molar, puncture the skin. Physics of the famine, kinetic and cold. Viking processor, ancient and old. Steel in the radius, iron in the ulnar. Glacial calculation, terminal trauma.
Feed the marrow.
Feed the marrow.
Drain the copper.
Drain the copper.
Hardware logic.
Hardware logic.
Systemic hunger.
Systemic hunger.
Feed the marrow.
Feed the marrow.
Drain the copper.
Drain the copper.
Hardware logic.
Hardware logic.
Systemic hunger.
Go to the berserk, etched in the cell. Hunger is the battery, burning out hell. Nerves on the trigger, sinew in the grip. Blood is the oil, let the clutches slip. Shield wall geometry, angle of the blow. Calibrate the arc, let the marrow flow. Red mist vision, ocular interface. Eradicate the target, leave no trace. Marrow output max, systemically. Cold is the will, though the flesh is weak. Ribs are the armor, iron is the nerve. Calibrate the swing, sharpen the curve. Data the stream red, burning in the vein. Physics of the terror, logic of the pain. I am the terminal, I am the end. Bones that will shatter, joints that won't bend. Stomach, growling beast, feet on the void. Ancient hardware, systems deployed. Copper on the tongue, salivate for red. Binary of carnage, that of the dead. Femur in the fibula, clicking in the cold. System calibration, do as you are told. Empty is the stomach, full is the hate. Algorithm deadly, seal the target. Say axe head, velocity calculation true. Dividing up the marrow, cutting into you. Merv and fire, electrical storm. Functional violence, taking on the form. Stomach, growling beast, feet on the void. Ancient hardware, systems deployed. Copper on the tongue, salivate for red. Binary of carnage, shadow of the dead. System starve. Copper scent. Calibration complete. Output accepted. Steel on stone.
Steel on stone.
Cold and bone, cold and bone.
And watch it drain, sever the link to every vein. Mixing blood with blackened earth, kill the concept of a birth. Eyes completely vacant stare, oxygen is static air. Heart is beating once a minute, empty cage with nothing in it. Calibrate the marrow depths, calculate the final step. Binary in every nerve, iron will that will not swerve.
The code is written in the ash, the system killing every flash.
Every flash,
Rewriting every tender line. The geometry is now divine.
now divine.
Storm born and built of iron will. Every nerve is ice and still. Shield and accent, printed code. Down the frozen data road. No more room for synapse heat. Crush the rhythm in the beat. Bone and ash the only law. Lock the hinges of the jaw. Rigs are casing for the void. Every impulse is destroyed. Firmware hardened in the cold. Stories that the ancestors told. Reformat the inner space. Wipe the meaning from the face. Surgical precision strike. Nothing that the gods would like. Physical geometry of pain. Data streaming through the stain. Lock the access to the core. Seal the ritual at the door.
Seal the door, seal the door.
Through the marrow runs the wiring. System failure is expiring. Total data blackout zone. Concrete wrapped around the bone. No more fear or weakness left of every function now bereft. Bruv, the pact is made of grit. Like the fuse but never quit. Calculating battle plan in the era of the man. Obsidian is in the chest. Put the system to the test. The code is written in the ash. The system killing every flash.
Every flash,
Rewriting every tender line. The geometry is now divine.
now divine.
Storm born and built of iron will. Every nerve is ice and still. Zero signal in the spine. Cross the final borderline. Heartbeat 1, heartbeat none. Static, static. field and binary lines. The shield wall cracks where it aligns. The geometry of bone and steel is all the mercy they will feel. I view the slope at 10 degrees. I lock the vectors in with ease. The logic of the iron edge is written on the rocky ledge. I scan the front for structural flaw beyond the reach of human law. The weak link shivers in the grid. The logic does what it is bid. I trace the static in their nerves. The bow of you and I in curves. I calculate the tension high. The
Gravity is in the sky. Snap, snap.
The bowstring hits the axis point.
I pierce.
The CODE in the joint.
Erase.
The data clean the slate.
Math is the only hand of fate. Snap, snap.
The geometry is flawless now.
I put.
The arrow through the brow.
Erase.
The system kill the light.
Physics is winning in the night.
I spot the gap at segment 4. A faulty hinge upon the door. One man is tender stiff with fear. I bring the calculation near. The rivet's just a carbon gate to let the iron through the grate. The marrow is the inner core. The liquidator on the floor. I process every breath they take as fractions of a raw mistake. The spine is just a vertical key to unlock all their misery. Calibration starts in the skull to make the surging rhythm null. I see the veins like circuitry failing under the scrutiny.
Snap, snap.
The bowstring hits the axis point.
I pierce.
The CODE in the joint.
Erase.
The data clean the slate.
Math is the only hand of fate. Snap, snap.
The geometry is flawless now.
I put.
The arrow through the brow.
Erase.
The system kill the light.
Physics is winning in the night.
Exhale the breath and clear the cache. Turn every stat to bone and ash. Wait for the zero in the pulse before the metal can convulse. 3, 2, 1, input is true. My optic nerve is cutting through. Zero friction on the shaft. Mastering the killing craft. Da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum day. Da-da-da-da-dum-dum, da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum day. Da-da-da-da-dum-dum, da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum day. Da-da-da-da-dum-dum. The trajectory is locked in place. I wipe the error from the space. The femur snaps, the radius breaks, correcting all the war's mistakes. I run the script across the mud, the algorithm written in blood. I am the processor of pain down on the levels of the plane. The physics of the falling arc will find the center of the mark. Their rib cages are open files stored in the keeps and in the piles. I am the coder of the code. The ancient math is turning gold. I solve the problem with the boat, giving the system deadly jolt.
Snap, snap.
The bowstring hits the axis point.
I pierce.
The CODE in the joint.
Erase.
The data clean the slate.
Math is the only hand of fate. Snap, snap.
The geometry is flawless now.
I put.
The arrow through the brow.
Erase.
The system kill the light.
Physics is winning in the night.
Calculation complete. Erase the meat. Geometry stays pure. Only death is the cure. Input received and processed. The formation is at rest. Logic prevails in the snow. Watch the dead numbers grow.
Deep in the marrow, the system is cold. Iron is bought, and the body is sold. Spear shaft snaps on the radius bone. Splinter fracture with shards of stone. Nerves are severed, the data is clean. Flesh is the vessel, the will is machine. Tighten the leather, compress the vein. Input the logic, ignore the pain. Tendons are cables, are braided wire. Forged in the frost and tempered in fire. Wrap the ligament, cinch the knot. Let the remaining soft tissue rot. Calibrate movement, adjust the stride. Nothing remains of the ego inside. Meets a mechanism, iron will. Calibrate the logic of the kill. Ribs are cages for the engine core. Fist physical geometry of war.
Meter mechanism bone and ash, processing the impact and the crash. System override, the hardware stands. Victory is written in these hands.
Arrowhead buried deep in the thigh. Extraction sequence, no reason to cry. Serrations grind on the femur wall. Structure is stable, I never will fall. Lactic acid system is red. Execute protocols, leave them for dead. Numb extremity, 0 degrees. I do not falter, I do not freeze. Cartilage cracks like ice on the lake. Nothing is left for the enemy to take. Vertebrae locked in a vertical line. Geometry perfect, the slaughter is fine.
Meter mechanism, iron will calibrate the logic of the kill. Ribs are cages for the engine core. Physical geometry of war.
Meter mechanism bone and ash, processing the impact and the crash. System override, the hardware stands. Victory is written in these hands.
Scrape the marrow,
Treat the blade,
price of conquest.
already paid.
No preservation,
Total decay,
logic dictates.
the only way.
Kinetic energy, ballistic arc. Ignite the fuel within the dark. Torque the muscle, snap the hinge. Purge the weakness, do not flinch. Bone density max, the skeleton tight. I am the terminal end of the night. Cellular data is bleeding away. I am the gear and the gearbox ablaze. Scout the horizon, the SOV burns. This is the point and no human returns. Internal temp is a frozen reverse. This is the blessing and this is the curse. Crush the phalanges, grind the molar. System is arctic, system is taller. Watch to the rhythm of breaking the steel. I do not think and I do not feel. Meter mechanism, iron will calibrate the logic of the kill. Ribs are cages for the engine core. Physical geometry of war.
Meter mechanism bone and ash, processing the impact and the crash. System override, the hardware stands. Victory is written in these hands.
Hardware offline. Meat failing. Will constant. Geometry complete.
Geometry points, blunted axis cutting through the frozen data stream. No one is allowed to wake from this machine. Cold iron calibrated for the fissure in the skull. Every single impact makes the nerve-ending skull. I step over the exhausted, leaking on the white. Binary decay within the permafrost tonight.
Grind the marrow down to dust. Oil the edge to kill the rust. Grind the marrow down to dust. Oil the edge to kill the rust.
Check the pressure in the tendons under maximum strain. Ancient algorithms of the physical pain. Staring straight ahead into the pixelated storm. Keep the marrow frozen, keep the metal casing warm. Raven drones are circling the coordinates of death. Visible exhaust is trailing from every single breath. Shield wall buffering against the kinetic force. Heavy leather strapping to the dead and bloody horse.
Boots on the limestone, crunching on the grit. Logic of the blade is the only thing that is fit. Scan the horizon for the enemy node. Heavy lifting under the genetic code.
Rib cage locking like a vault in the ice. Every single survival has a market price. Drag the standard forward through the mutilated clay. Just another cycle in the system today.
The axe is blunted but the bone will break.
Recalculate the losses in the wake of the quake.
System error bleeding through the frozen ground. Only physics govern where the bodies are found. The axe is blunted but the bone will break.
Recalculate the losses in the wake of the quake. Fiber optic nerves twitching in the brisk. Kill the repetition in the blizzard and the mist. Stepping over comrades who failed the stress test. chest. There is no partition allocated for the rest. Blade is notched and jagged, but the leverage is sound. Blood is just a coolant running out onto the mound. Calibrate the angle of the downward swing. Listen to the way the tempered carbon rings.
Press the pelvis open like a shattered code key. There is nothing left of the narrative for me. Only the resistance of the flesh and the shield. Only the percentage of the war on the field. Staring straight ahead until the optics go black. Once the march is started, there is no turning black. Teeth grinding down until the enamel lives on. Pushing through the canyon at the breaking of the dawn. I do not feel the winter.
I am the winter.
I do not feel the hunger.
I am the hunger.
Connective tissue failing at the anchor point. Pressure building up inside the sacral joint. No glory in the piston, no mercy in the gear. Only the kinetics of the violence here. Active thoracic cavity apart of the steel. Ignore the way the fractures in the radius feel. Muscle memory is the only script that I run underneath the glare of the dying northern sun. Boots scrunching down on the shattered jawbone. Walking through the kill zone completely alone. Everything is matter, everything is mass. Waiting for the timer of the battle to pass. The axe is blunted, but the bone will break. We calculate the losses in the wake of the quake. System error bleeding through the frozen ground. Holy physics loving where the bodies are found. The axe is blunted, but the bone will break. Oil the edge to kill the rust. Grind the marrow down to dust.
Oil the edge to kill the rust.
Grind the marrow down to dust.
Oil the edge to kill the rust. Kill it all, ha, ha. Iron grinds the grit in the cold bay mud. Axes rewrite the flow of the blood. Stinking the light poles, the wood hits the sand. Deleting the presence of life from the land. I map the coordinates, shredding the dock. The ribs of the gears and the rhythm is locked. I scan the horizon, no motion detected. Every survivor is now disconnected.
Bone strike, stone strike.
Calibrate the blade in the zone.
Nerve strike, nerve strike.
All these seeds are etched and sown. Checking the marrow, the density drops. The motion of lungs is a system that stops. I do not negotiate, physics is clear. The geometry shatters the skull and the ear. Snapping the tendons, rewriting the wire. The skeleton melts in the heat of the fire. I am the program, the code execution. Death is the only correct resolution.
Vector is zero, the cortex is blank.
We burned every silo and broke every bank.
Ignoring the white flag, the calibration is true.
The axe is the code and the axe is for you. They wear the white flag, but the logic is dead. I read the geometry painted in red. Burning the grain silo, starving the night. Removing the data of hope from the sight. Smoke is the signal, the ash is the proof. I rip every rafter from under the roof. No PD was coded inside of the steel. The shattering memory's all that is real. Scanning the rubble for signs of the beat. Only the sound of the retreating heat. I measure the distance from muscle to knife. Closing the loop on the circuit of life. Calibration is fixed on the neck. No one is walking away from the wreck. I calculate force on the wall of the shield. The marrow is raiding all over the field. Cutting the nerves with a mechanical grace. Erasing the features from every face. The horror is silent, the data is null. I crush the left leg inside of the skull.
There is zero, the cortex is blank.
We burned every silo and broke every bank.
Ignoring the white flag, the calibration is true.
The axe is the code and the axe is for you. The signals inside of the veins, geometry perfect, the void is complete. No heartbeat detected.
The system is cold, nothing to conquer and nothing to hold. Vertebrae locked in a frozen alignment. Victory serves as a final confinement. I sit on a throne made of rubble and shale. Calibration of violence at ultimate scale. Rib cage is tight on the hollowed out chest. Geometry dictates the cycle that rest. Bones are the columns and bones are the base. Gravity crushing the void in this place. Ligaments stretching like cables of steel. Only the physics of impact is real. Jaw is a vice on the last of the breath. Logic is static and data of death. Marrow is frozen inside of the frame. Zero the number and zero the name. Silence is total, the calculus done. Under the shadow of every dead sun. Bones are the monument, ash is the field. Nothing is promised and nothing will yield. Nothing will yield, nothing will yield, nothing will. Systems are shrouded in permanent frost. We are the victors who counted the cost. Counted the cost, counted the cost, counted the cost. Scan the horizon for signal or life. Only the geometry cut by the knife. Data was bleeding from gaps in the skull. Every component is heavy and dull. Code of the ancestor etched in the silt. This is the empire the cartilage built. Axe on the shoulder, the hardware is heavy. Blood is the liquid that breaks at the levee. Capillaries burst in the pressure of peak. Only the sound of the metal will speak. Nerves are the wires that carry the pain. Rust on the shield and the rust on the brain. Empty the cities where logic was stored. Architecture shattered by fire and sword. Hardware is grinding the femur to dust. Everything subject to corrosive trust. Silence is total, the calculus done. Under the shadow of every dead sun. Bones are the monument, ash is the field. Nothing is promised and nothing will yield. Nothing will yield, nothing will yield. Systems are shrouded in permanent frost. We are the victors who counted the cost. Counted the cost, counted the cost, counted the cost. Skin feels like granite, it hardens to stone. Mineral density fixed in the bone. Calibration of breathing is down to the mill. Physical law is the only strong will. Tendons are snapping like tension in ropes. No one is feeding on errors of hopes. Cartilage grinds at the hinge of the knee. This is the end that the optics can see. Binary static in valleys of gray. Nothing remains at the end of the day. Lungs are bellows for atmospheric weight. History ends at the shattered out gate. Pixels are fading, no banners of old. Only the vacuum and only the cold. Skull is a temple where data is kept. Everything living has already slept. Total victory is a hollow frequency. There is no vibration in the rubble.
No vibration.
Oxygen levels are flat. The grid is offline. Only the granite remains. Only the marrow is true. Marrow is true. Silence is total, the calculus done. Under the shadow of every dead sun. Bones are the monument, ash is the field. Nothing is promised and nothing will yield. Nothing will yield. Systems are shrouded in permanent frost. We are the victors who counted the cost. Counted the cost, counted the cost, counted the cost. Absolute silence of victory achieved. Nothing is mourned and nothing is grieved. physics of ice on the shattered out plane. Only the monument